We all struggle with challenges in our life, and in this episode, I'm going to encourage you to relax around the challenge that you're having and to show you that by relaxing around the problem, by literally stepping away from it, the problem will resolve and dissolve. And this isn't some sort of woo-woo wishful thinking. It's actually physics. And I wish I had known this sooner because it would have helped me navigate life way more smoothly, and I would have struggled a lot less trying to overcome the challenges in my life. So if you're going through something right now, or you've been experiencing a cycle of challenges, whether it's in your finances or your business or relationships or health, and you're tired of the struggle, you're absolutely going to love this episode. Now, I listen to all kinds of music, and sometimes I really like listening to worship music. And there's a song by a group called Shane and Shane, and the song is called You've Already Won. And in the song, there's a lyric that says, I'm fighting a battle you've already won. And the singer is referring to this idea that God or higher power or the universe has already solved the problem that you're experiencing. And it got me thinking, like, could that really be true? Could it be true that the problem I'm trying to overcome has already been solved? And if it's already been solved, then why am I still battling with it? So I want to unpack this with you because if you can get what I'm about to share with you, it's going to change the game on how you deal with the problem that you're having right now and any challenge that you face. So let's say you're having an experience like you don't have enough money or as much money as you would like. Things feel tight. You're working hard just to make ends meet. You need more money to pay your rent or pay the bills or pay the employees. And so you're constantly fighting this metaphorical battle with money. You're fighting this battle with financial insecurity. And I want to invite you to believe for just a moment that this problem is already solved, that the money, the financial prosperity, actually abundance beyond your wildest imagination already exists and is on the way. And just think about that for a moment. If you knew that the money and the abundance were already on the way, would you keep fighting the battle with money? Thinking about it in your head, worrying about how you were going to make the money, where the next client was going to come from, waiting for the next paycheck just to squeak by? If I came back from the future and told you that, man, there's so much money headed your way, I've already seen it. There's so much wellness headed your way, I've already seen it. There's so much in terms of joy and passion headed your way, I've already seen it. Would you keep battling in your head and battling with life to solve the problem? Of course not. I wouldn't. You wouldn't. We'd relax, wouldn't you? You'd be in sort of a quiet excitement and anticipation about what's coming. It's like, finally, victory is mine. The battle is over. I'm going to get where I want to go. You'd drop the fight, wouldn't you? In Scripture, in the Bible, over and over and over again, no matter what the situation, we are told that the battle is not ours to fight, that the battle is the Lord's to win. In Chronicles 20, when Jehoshaphat is faced with an overwhelming enemy, he's told, do not be afraid or discouraged because of this vast army, for the battle is not yours, but it is God's. In Exodus 14, Moses says to the Israelites as they face the Red Sea with Pharaoh's army behind them, the Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. And in my favorite passage in Samuel 17, as David is facing Goliath for the battle, David, a small shepherd boy, says to the watching armies as he's about to slay Goliath, all those gathered here will know that it is not by sword or spear that the Lord saves, for the battle is the Lord's, and he will give all of you into our hands. So time after time after time, we are shown by example, by some of the greatest challenges that biblical heroes have ever faced, that the battle is not ours to fight, but it is the Lord's. So what does this mean? Well, if we look at this from a metaphysical standpoint or from a standpoint of consciousness theory, what this means is that whenever we face a challenge, we experience something that we don't like, we send off a vibrational signal from our nervous system of dissatisfaction. So you're an electrical being, you're a radioactive being, and when you experience something you don't want, let's call it a problem, you experience emotions like stress or overwhelm or anger or frustration or worry or fear, and that signal is broadcast out to God or the universe or the unified field, the vast system of intelligence that is around us and expressing itself through us. And the system itself immediately responds, utilizing its infinite resources and power and possibility to manufacture a solution to your problem. I want you to get this. The moment a problem appears in your life, life itself is already manufacturing a solution. But in order to receive the solution, in order to materialize it or manifest it into your life, you must be what the Bible tells us to be, which is this idea of still. You must stand down. You must step away from the problem itself and stop fighting the battle and let the battle be won by, in the vocabulary of Scripture, the Lord. Now, Einstein said you cannot solve a problem with the same energy or consciousness that created it. So you can't solve a problem by fighting a problem. Now you say, wait a minute, Dave's getting woo-woo on me. I've seen this movie. It's called The Secret. It doesn't work. Dave is saying you just sit back and do nothing, and all of a sudden a big bag of money will show up on your doorstep, or my soulmate will just show up on my doorstep, or a new healthy body is just going to show up on my doorstep. No, that's not what I'm saying. Sometimes that does happen. You leave the problem alone and a solution shows up. That's actually the story of Jehoshaphat. He was told to stand down. And so while he waited and while his singers sang the praises of God, the armies of his enemies get into an argument and end up destroying each other without Jehoshaphat ever having to fight a battle. Sometimes that happens. We're short on money. And by doing nothing, we get a reimbursement from our insurance company that we didn't expect. We're struggling to get a new client, doing everything we can to fight the bills due at the end of the month. And then, just standing in the line at Starbucks, we meet somebody who wants to pay you to work for them, right? Who wants to hire you. You get laid off and you don't know what to do. And then a friend of yours calls and says, hey, I'm hiring. Want a job? Hey, it's David. Quick interruption to your regularly scheduled podcast episode. I want to let you know about an opportunity to go even deeper into this work together. If you have not yet, please check out the show notes. In there, we've got links to both our Mind Hack and our Whole Human Framework programs. Our Mind Hack course is an incredible framework. It's the foundation of everything that I teach on this show to help you understand how to become deeply aware of the subconscious programs that are holding you back and to teach you the technologies and frameworks to allow you to dramatically transform those belief systems and rewire your brain. Again, the Mind Hack program is our 7-day self-paced program. We also have our 12-week course, The Whole Human Framework. And we've got both of them right now bundled in a special offer for those of you who want to go big, want to go fast, and who understand that you don't want to put off another day of your full potential or holding on to unnecessary stress, anxiety, or suffering, but you want to be liberated from these habits of thinking and have a powerful living experience. Check out the link in the show notes. Jump on over to the website. Take a look at the programs and the extraordinary success stories of entrepreneurs just like you who have gone through these courses, and I will see you on the other side. And now, back to your regularly scheduled podcast episode. Sometimes all we have to do is stand down, but action is also a part of it. Moses had to follow inspiration and instruction to go and tell Pharaoh to free the Hebrews, to lead them out into the desert. That was hard work. To hear the whisper of spirit and stretch his hand out over the Red Sea so that it could part. He took massive action. David had to go out and in the face of the greatest soldier in the Philistine army, go to battle with nothing but a rock and a sling. Yes, we have to do things, but we do the things that we are told when we've stepped away from the problem. Because when you stop fighting, you have different thoughts, new ideas, inspiration, solution-oriented thoughts and ideas. And when you follow the solution, it leads you beyond the problem. But that's very different than fighting the problem. See, stepping away from the problem and waiting for inspiration and pursuing solution requires a faith that if you step back, then the Lord or the system or God or the universe will deliver you to a solution. And sometimes that happens through synchronicities and coincidences and things lining up. Sometimes that happens through new thoughts and ideas and inspiration that you have to take action on. But know that whatever your challenge is, and here's the big idea here, the battle is already won. The solution is already being organized and processed. And you can access that solution when you stop fighting the problem. So years ago, my wife and I were struggling in this business. Like things had grown very, very quickly. And then all of a sudden we went into a contraction. And so we tried one thing after the next, new marketing strategies, new market positioning, all new kinds of hiring different team members and different consultants, and nothing was working. And frankly, it brought me to my knees. It was burning both of us out. At one point, we were like, let's just shut this shit down because this is too hard. You know, we had made some money. We didn't need to do this, even though I knew this was my spiritual vision and my mission. And so I really felt stuck between a rock and a hard place because I knew deep down inside I couldn't give up. But I finally gave up the battle. I said, God, I'm going to rest this month. I'm going to relax. I'm going to journal. I'm going to do my cold plunge. I'm going to exercise. I'm going to get back to my 12-step program. I'm going to hang out with my friends, reconnect with my family who I hadn't spoken to in God knows how long. But I cannot keep pushing anymore. And then over the course of that month, miracles occurred. New team members showed up, exactly the people that we needed to take our business to the next level. New clients showed up without us having to push or hustle or grind. New ideas showed up in terms of how to reinvent our business and restructure our programs, and new ideas around marketing. I spent some time starting to record episodes on this podcast. In fact, this podcast and the explosive growth that it has had, going from no listeners to 1 million listeners a month in just about a year, was a result of ideas that I had and inspiration that I followed when I stepped away from the problem. So I stepped away from the problem, and God or the universe delivered me the solutions that were already on the way that I finally made space for by stepping off the battlefield of my problems. An author by the name of Frank Kinslow wrote a little book, good book, called When Nothing's Working, Try Doing Nothing. And just in that title is so much wisdom. If nothing is working, well, then do nothing, because that's what's working, right? It's a play on words, right? But we hear it in the Bible, Psalms 46, be still and know that I am God. If you're fighting a battle that you aren't winning right now in your life or your business or your health or your bank account or your relationships or in the pursuit of purpose in your life, maybe it's time to stop fighting and let the solution come into your life. So what do you do in the meantime? I mean, do what I did. The greatest gift of that break I took was I spent more time with my wife. I spent more time with my 1-year-old son. I mean, whatever it is for you that you enjoy, start hanging out with friends again. Get back to church or temple. Go to your 12-step meetings. Read an inspirational book. Listen to an inspirational podcast. Take a bubble bath. Put yourself into the frequency of the solution. And then watch as you match the frequency of solution, how quickly the solution shows up in your life. So I hope this was helpful for you. Sometimes we make it so much harder than it needs to be, and it's so much easier. I think in the spirit of this being more biblically oriented as an episode, that's what Jesus was talking about when he said, my yoke is easy. It's like, do your job, but also allow the universe to work in your life. You know, let it do what it does. And if you're battling something right now, get off the battlefield and see what happens when you leave space for the solution. When you stand down, knowing that the battle is already won and that you just need to create the space to accept it. So I love you so much. I hope this episode served you well. If you feel like there's somebody in your life who needs to hear this, absolutely share it. If you're listening on the audio platforms and you haven't yet subscribed, leave me a rating or a review. If you're following on YouTube, leave me a comment or a question, subscribe, hit the bell icon. I try to read every single comment that comes through and respond to as many as possible, because I think when we start orienting ourselves to how reality actually works and making space for intelligence to function in our life, man, there isn't anything that you can't create. There isn't any challenge that you cannot overcome. And also, I'm a big believer this is not a do-it-yourself project, it's a do it with others. So I'm grateful that you're here. I'm glad you're part of the community. Let's stay together, and I will see you in the next episode. Hey, it's David. Hop on over to davidbear.com. Click right here. There's also a link in the show notes, and sign up for our newsletter. You'll get immediate access to my free Mind Hack ebook, as well as a couple of trainings to help you master the inner game. This is a great way to stay informed and be a part of our community and be notified of special announcements. Click below, head on over to the website, get subscribed. If you loved this video, make sure you check out this one or this one, and I will see you in the next video.